Let's start off by going over the chords. Since C minor, we start on a C minor 7th, the 1 chord. Then we move up to an F minor 7th, the 4 chord. Then a 2, D minor 7 flat 5, to a 5, G 7th, back to the 1 chord, C minor 7th. Now, he does something very interesting here, which is not in a lot of songs. He goes up to the key of D flat, a 2-5, E flat minor 7th, to A flat 7th, to D flat major 7th. Now, very interestingly, if we just move our first finger up, we get D minor 7 flat 5, the 2 to the 5, G 7th, back to the 1 chord. Okay, so that's very interesting harmony. If we have a D flat major 7th chord or a major 7th chord, and remember I was saying before, we got to figure out what one note makes the difference. Well, we move that D flat up to a D. Talk about a difference one note can make, and that's the difference. So it's very interesting harmony, how he used one note change to get back to the 2, to the 5, back to the 1 chord. Okay, now I started off with a very bluesy style lick. Okay, C minor. Any minor key you're in, you use the pentatonic blues scale and you got it made. They're all the notes in the minor chord. Okay, so that's what I'm basing that off of. You can play all kinds of blues. All your blues licks could be used in that minor chord. So don't forget that. Blues and jazz are one. All right, so use those blues. Use those pentatonics, especially in these minor tunes. Very effective. Okay, so I started off with a good solid... Tried to make it melodic, bluesy, and to the point. Okay, and then we get to the F minor, I go to the scalar. Right? Down the arpeggio. Again, we need to combine concepts, not just use one of them. Now, the flat 9. And look what we find again, the 3rd with the neighboring tones. All these different styles we're using, that keeps coming back. That's because that is a classic jazz move right there. Okay, let's look at this for a second. We're using the flat 9, G 7th. This scale is derived from the C harmonic minor scale, which is... Okay, if we start this scale on the 5th, we get that flat 9 sound, which is really effective in a minor song. See how good that sounds? That's that flat 9 sound. We're putting that in this solo, especially here where we're going 2. It's a cool line. And then back to the blues. Right? The blues in minor works wonderfully. Use it. Okay, now we go up to that E flat minor 7, A flat 7, D flat major 7, the 2, 5, 1 in D flat. We're going to use that flat 9 sound again. Check it out. Okay, so we're using the arpeggio, the triad. Got to know your chord tones. If you don't know your chord tones, you got to go back now and learn all your chord tones and play your chord tones. Don't just learn them on paper so you can recite them. You have to play them. So when we get to keys like D flat and we're playing an E flat minor 7th, you're not like, where am I? We got to know these things, okay? They're very, very important. There's your flat 9 over A flat 7th, using the arpeggio, the extended arpeggio, to have the flat 9. Landing on the 3rd of the next tone. Another classic riff here. These are the gems of riffs, of jazz riffs. Okay? They've been used for the last 100 years. Landing on the 3rd of D flat, and then a basic 6th arpeggio. Love that sound. That's the other side of the pentatonic, the major pentatonic. Okay, so we use that right there, proving that simplicity works. It's a major 6th arpeggio. It works very nicely. Okay, then we're back to the flat 9. Up an octave. Little blues lick, a nice confident conclusion to your solo. So people know your solo's over. You don't want to be rambling on, and no one knows when your solo's over. Conclude. Conclusion, very important. So quickly again, we started with nice bluesy lick, scalar, and down the arpeggio. Then to the flat 9. Neighboring tone to the 3rd, blues. Again, nothing speedy or fancy, soulful and bluesy, and that's good melody. Good melody should be soulful. All right, then we get to the E flat minor 7th, A flat 7, D flat, and we're using, okay, the chord tones, the arpeggio, to the flat 9, to the 6th arpeggio. Very nice sound. And then back to the flat 9. Up an octave. And then end with a good, solid statement. Conclude your solo confidently. All right, let's move on to the next one.